Beowulf is an epic poem that was first told around 700 AD, but then written down around 1000 AD. It is one of the first stories written in English, but not the English that you know. The picture on the screen is actually a snapshot of the original manuscript. Now, when you think of Old English, you probably think of the stuff that Shakespeare wrote, but that's not true. Shakespeare wrote in pre-modern English. Old English is much, much older. Old English is only 2 to 3 steps away from us on the language tree, but that actually equates to about 1,000 years difference. What we are going to read has been translated, so don't be surprised if some of the words are out of order or seem weird to our language. The story takes place in the Scandinavian lands, which is today's Denmark and Norway. The word Nordic or Norse is usually used to describe the people, culture, and mythology of this place, but the word Viking is also used a lot. Speaking of mythology, let's stop and talk about religion for a second. When this story was first told as an oral tradition, it most likely went along with the Nordic culture's mythology. They worshipped a plethora of gods and goddesses, some of which are widely known in comic books today. But by the time that it was finally written down, Christianity had replaced all the pagan gods. So when you read Beowulf, you might see a few things that don't quite add up. For example, they might be praising God one minute and then talking about magic the next. This is because when it was finally written down, they wanted to add in Christianity, but keep the pagan elements. One of the best examples is how they kept the monster Grendel, which is a pagan element, but gave him a backstory by making him the descendant of Cain, which is a biblical figure. Keep religion in mind when you read Beowulf, but also keep in mind culture. Scandinavian culture honored one thing above all else, and that was honor. In fact, in the original Scandinavian religion, the only way that you could get a good afterlife was to die in battle. This is expressed many times in Beowulf. The most notable example is when he's crowned king, not because he's a prince, but because he's honorable. Now the topic you've all been waiting for. Why do we even need to read this book? One of the main reasons is, as I said before, it's one of the first stories written in English. In fact, it serves as an inspiration to many authors and creative artists, even up to today. A couple of the most notable works that Beowulf helped inspire would be Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, which helped inspire a lot of contemporary fantasy. There are also several modern video games such as Skyrim that were inspired by Beowulf. So look for things you might see from modern culture, but really it has dragons, so it's pretty cool. So thanks for watching and happy reading!